All right, guys and girls, it is time. Best Ball Mania 4 is here. We are here to chase $3 million. Let's do it. All right, so I'm going to be doing a Best Ball Mania 4 stream today and answering any questions I have in the chat. Before I do that, shout out StreamYard. We got some new layouts going here, and shout out me. I launched my Discord, Chaos Surfing. The link to join the Discord is in the description below. And in that Discord, I will be answering questions people have. You can see me already giving some critiques for people's teams. I have resources for you. Something I want to show you that I linked in. Oh, God. We are live on my phone too. But you can see in the Best Ball Resources channel on my Discord, I have linked the tight ends, the wide receivers, and the running backs that have been drafted in the NFL draft. So this is a great resource while you're going through your Best Ball Mania 4s as you get later in the draft and you're like, I need a running back, I need a wide receiver. I don't think that person's going to be starting. You can say, okay, looking at wide receiver, Jalen Hyatt went to the Giants in the third, or Cedric Tillman went to the Browns in the third. Like, these are probably people who are going to play in the NFL. Or at running back, Evan Hull went to the Colts in the fifth. So an easy resource to see that. I'll be giving you guys more resources that I find usable. And with that being said, I hope you guys join that. Really hope you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. My first mini goal of the channel this offseason is to get to 2,000 subscribers, on the road to 2K. I would love if I could get close to 5K this summer. That would be awesome. If you don't know who I am, this is your first time checking out my channel. My name is Liam Murphy, at ChessLiam on Twitter. I won Best Ball Mania 2 for $1 million, and I won 2 more high-stakes DraftKings Best Ball tournaments, being probably the first person ever to win more than one Best Ball tournament. And I won 2 last year, so I've won 3 total. So with that being said, let's do this thing, B's and G's. Let's jump into our first Best Ball Mania 4 on stream of the year. And while I'm doing that, going to answer the question I've been seeing thrown around a lot, and might have to edit the screen to make it best for everyone. So let me try to size this so that it is viewable for everyone. It's going to be a work in progress here. Let me see if I can. I want to show you guys the full draft board. We got Ron Stewart in the chat. Follow him on Twitter. Pulled the 108 here. We'll work on the screen here. GM, let's fucking go. Thank you, Devin, for joining the Discord. BBM is a long season. Pace yourselves. Already did 10. I have done 10. So yeah, my thoughts on, should you draft before the NFL schedule is released? I've seen this question a lot. People have been asking in my Discord, so I'm going to answer it here on stream for you. I am someone who drafts on news cycles. What does that mean? When we get new info, I like to be drafting. So when a contest is released, is a great time to get some drafts in. Why is that? Because the ADP is wild. A lot of players that are in the player pool right now are ranked terribly. Some are way too high. Some are way too low. So yes, is it ideal that we know the NFL schedule, which comes out mid-May, like May 11th, I believe? That would be great, but we don't. So I'll be doing around 20 or so drafts for Best Ball Mania 4 before we get the schedule. Now, some concern for people drafting early is, and I've seen historical data, which is like, well, you're going to draft players who are not on NFL teams anymore. And I don't agree with that. That's not something that's doomed to repeat year over year in best ball. Coming up on our first pick here of the Best Ball Mania 4 season, guys. Do me a favor, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Really would appreciate it. We're going to take AJ Brown. Just a grown ass man. I think he got tackled at like the 1 yard line at an amazingly high clip last year, where he could have had an even bigger season. Bijan, another guy I want to get some shares to. Regarding the first and second round, I think there's not as many players I want to fade as years past. But anyways, to close it out, I'll be drafting quite a bit of teams now, and then I'll be drafting quite a bit of teams as soon as we get the NFL schedule release. I am going to Vegas for all of June and part of July to play the World Series of Poker tournaments. Going to be working out actually every day for the month of May. Went on a run this morning to start that. Going to get in shape. The reason is because I think it's pretty clear you think mentally best when you are in fit shape. You can just look at the world chess champions of the past and the top world chess players in the past. A game that takes a lot of mental energy. Literally no one is fat and out of shape that is good at chess, or elite at least. All right. So with AJ Brown here, we could go Jalen Hurts and just rip the stack. I don't mind doing that. We could take Saquon. We are going to take Saquon this time. The reason being is before we have the NFL schedule release, getting some divisional stacks or teams that are going to be playing each other gives you a higher chance you're going to accidentally stack week 17, week 16, week 15. So the Giants and the Eagles play in the same division. Saquon is one of the only running backs you feel really great about from a volume perspective in the best ball landscape. And once he signs his contract, I like Saquon probably more than JT and maybe even Eckler, but definitely after Bijan for me. Appreciate you, Het711. Guys, again, make sure you get in that Discord. The link is on my Twitter, and it's in the YouTube description below. And hit the bell, guys. Hit the bell for the Noti gang here. Let's adjust this a little bit so that you guys can see the whole draft board here. Maybe we can just move me down a little bit. You guys let me know what you think there. How do we like this new layout? I'm going to be playing with these. I think this is good right now. You guys get to see a lot of the board. You get to see a lot more of me than in years past. My beautiful mug. Thoughts on the new structure from Jake Thorne? Yeah, I think there's been a lot of complaining from people about the structure. My personal opinion is, it does us no favor to waste our time complaining on Twitter. Are there things I would have done differently about the structure? Yes, there is. I would have moved the money that they are paying to 1,000 to 10,000 in the regular season. I would have moved all that money to the finals, giving each final team on average an extra $5,000. But ultimately, we should have no excuses, right? Do not play Best Ball Mania 4 trying to grind out your 3% ROI, your 5% ROI. It is not the tournament for that. You can play cash games. You can play different tournaments that are not as top heavy. You play Best Ball Mania 4 because you're trying to win life-changing money. There's $3 million to first place, literally the only fantasy contest on earth that will pay you $3 million potentially. Second place gets a cool mill. Regular season winner gets $500K. So there's plenty of contests out there. Do not draft this contest and then complain at the end of the year that you advanced 40% of your teams and didn't make any money. The aim of the game is not advancing. The aim of the game is getting to the finals and doing well in the finals and pulling levers to help you do that, which I will be helping you with. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and we will be chasing $3 million together. Okay. So the first interesting spot in the draft, Ken Walker, an obvious faller after the Seahawks took Zach Charbonnet. I'm going to be taking Ramondre here. To me, Ramondre has overall RB1 on the season in his cards. He is a definite winner from the real life NFL draft. Yes, the Patriots themselves are not going to be the best team in football, even close to it, obviously. However, their division has now three good offenses in the Jets, the Bills, the Dolphins. So Ramondre should be pushed in that regards. They didn't add a lot of wide receiver talent in the draft. Mac is going to check down a lot to Ramondre. He could easily see a boatload of targets. And if he runs a little bit hotter on touchdowns, could just absolutely smash. They did not add anyone in the draft. Another great resource, guys, here is on Twitter. If you type in Raz and the team name of the class, you'll see shout out Kentley Platt. He posted the Raz profile. It's an easy way to easily see a team's draft class where, there's some sites out there. It's not that great, but like I can see, okay, they went corner, D tackle, linebacker, center, guard. That's probably good for a running back to load up on the O line. Wide receiver in the 6th round. And wide receiver in the 6th round. Patriots obviously had a weird, probably bad draft where they took a kicker and a punter, but that's a great way of seeing a team's draft class along with this resource, which allows you to see when the rookies were drafted. Tell us about Portugal. Thanks for the question, Jake. I was in Portugal for 2 weeks, my first time in Europe other than Iceland, which I don't really count. It was awesome. The food was just amazing in Portugal. Spent a week in Lisbon, one of my favorite cities on earth, and a week down in Lagos with my girlfriend. It was a really awesome time. Smash that like button, guys. Drop a comment. Help me out here. For as much success as I've had in the best ball space, my YouTube channel is small. We're trying to improve that. So help me out. Najee Harris, really tough click for me in round 4. In some senses, let's make my quick pick real quick. Kind of a weird point in the draft. Both the tight ends have just been thrown in here. I'm going to take Hawkinson. In some ways, he's a small loser from the draft because the Vikings did add Jordan Addison in the 1st round of the draft. That makes Kirk Cousins a winner in the draft to me, but their defense is still not going to be great. That division in general, I'll probably add pieces from. And I think tight end 1 is easily on the cards for TJ Hawkinson. Mark Andrews has a lot more target competition than years past. He's got Odell there now. He's got Zay Jones there now. We still don't know where DeAndre Hopkins is going. So I have Hawkinson over Andrews for me. Kittle, just, and just anytime you're taking expensive tight end, guys, you can win both ways. They can have a great regular season. You advance a lot of teams. They could have a bad regular season, get way outscored by the wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks in this range, and then score points in the touchdowns. And now you've built in leverage. DeAndre Swift is one of the players I had the most in pre-draft best ball. His ADP is more expensive now. I mean, just a great landing spot with the Eagles O-line and the Eagles team in general. Obviously, not Penny, Swift, and Gainwell are all going to smash, but I think all are draftable. All it takes is an injury to one of them where the other two get more work now. Gibbs is a player who night 1, I got a lot of 5th round Gibbs, noticing that sometimes people took him in the 3rd. They took him in the 4th. What round are you taking Gabe Davis? Taking him where his ADP is. I'm not trying to. I will take some players later in the draft past ADP, but I'm not trying to move up players' ADPs quite so early. I do move the market a little bit. People seem to copy me. I notice a lot of analysts I follow on Twitter. I post a point and sometimes they come out with a post with a bigger profile than mine sometimes. So we try to be careful. We try to protect our EV here. Might be doing 2 drafts today, guys, back to back for the people for the launch. How could I not? So stick around. Miles Sanders at ADP seems ridiculously high right now to me. Damian Pierce, that was a reach at ADP. Looking through this, like I don't think it's great to be taking Pat Mahomes without Kelsey. It's not the same thing as taking Jalen Hurts, who's going to score a lot of rushing touchdowns. Okay. So we are going to take JSN here. I saw a lot of people did not like the JSN landing spot with Seattle. My counter is Geno Smith. Threw for 4,200 yards last year, nearly 4,300 actually, 30 touchdowns. And JSN is both bigger than Lockett, and Lockett is 31 now. So JSN could totally be in 2 wide receiver sets by the end of the year. They do not throw to their tight ends a lot. And best ball is an individual week game, guys. It is not a season-long game. So do I think Jackson Smith-Njigba is capable of scoring 100 yards and 2 touchdowns in a week? Absolutely, I fucking do. So I will be drafting him. It's pretty binary like that. Hey, I learn from Pete. Pete learns from me. We're all out here learning. Thoughts of Levis and Tannehill in Tennessee. I would draft Will Levis. I would not draft Tannehill. That's just me personally. Yeah, I remember last year when Andrew smashed at the beginning of the year in DFS, it was just like, man, it would be foolish to take a wide receiver when you could get a tight end that matches the points at tight end. Guys, do me a favor right now and absolutely smash that subscribe button. Help me out, guys. We're on the road to 2K here. Let's go. The energy's electric. We got nearly 75 of you in the chat today. I'll be doing streams probably all week. Let's focus in here, make our pick. We're grabbing Hollywood, far ahead of ADP. I think Hollywood was a winner in the draft. D-Hop could still be on the move. Yes, his offense isn't fantastic, but pretty easy to backstack that division as well. And, Hollywood was one of the best picks in best ball last year until he got hurt. Still a speedster. Considered going Lockett and trying to, get a Geno stack, obviously, but decided I just would take the JSN bet in the offense. Mike asks, curious your thoughts on Kyler at ADP. And I'll try to be mindful of the audio listeners because I will upload this to my Apple podcast, Chaos Surfing. I personally, at this point in the season, won't, last year I took on a lot of risk with my early best ball picks and it burnt a lot of my team. So don't think I'm going to take on as much clear question mark risk at this point in the offseason when we just don't have as much information. That makes me less prone to want to draft the Trey Lances, the Kylers. Again, quarterback is very unlikely to break fantasy football. It's just, even if you hit on a whatever Jalen Hurts type talent in the 9th, Jalen Hurts still exists, so he's still matching those points. Josh Allen still exists. You got it. So I will be taking Kyler some, typically in 3 QB builds or as a second um, in the second with an elite guy. Yeah, you guys know I'm the Gabe Davis guys. A lot of other analysts out there have tried to position themselves as the Gabe Davis guy. I think it's great for Gabe Davis that the Bills, I mean, in some ways, they drafted Justin Shorts, a 5th-round wide receiver who's an athletic freak. He's kind of like a poor man's DK Metcalf. That could be uh, Davis's replacement in the future. Davis is not under contract next year, so it could be maybe if Davis has a great year, they just can't afford him. They're going to have to move on. But I think Davis is a good best ball pick because the way he wins is going to be long touchdowns. Touchdowns are obviously key in half-point PPR. And I think and I just I can't help myself. I will be taking a lot of Jameson Williams at this cost. Obviously, he has a 6-game suspension. I'll finish out the Gabe Davis thought in a second, though. Jameson Williams obviously has a 6-game suspension, but could come back for those 8 to 7 games, depending on when the bye is, and, rip off a couple 30, 20-point weeks, whatever. Obviously, it's going to hurt his advance rate a little bit, but could still be on the season-long winning team. And with me having TJ Hawkinson, it is a bet on that division. Allows me to backstack to Goff. Yeah, I think Davis is unlikely to get a ton of, like volume. Yeah, he could be around 100 targets, but Dalton Kincaid could get a lot of volume. That's not out of the question for sure. Pound, I answered that question at the start. I recommend you rewind and take a look at that. Appreciate you, Paul. Who are the top 5 analysts in the best ball space? This may surprise you, Jake, but I do not read a lot of fantasy football content at all. Don't really want other people's thoughts to muddle mine. And I do read a lot of Twitter, obviously. And that Twitter following's grown over time for me. But just off the top of the head, some of the people, I think it's important for Best Ball Mania 4 to keep your expectations in check. You should be following people who make you laugh, obviously. But at the same time, some of the people I like to listen to is my guy Pete Overzet. I'm not saying I watch every stream. Pat Kerrane. There's no mistake that I had Pat Kerrane as one of my most often guests last year on my channel. Really think Pat is insightful and like what he says. He thinks pretty similarly to me. Don't agree with everything Mike Leone says, but he's more of a data centric guy. But typically listen to his pod here and there. I like Levitan's pods here and there. There's a ton of great content out though, guys. And then obviously myself. Literally one of the only best ball tournament professionals that exists. Okay. So we're coming on pick 89. We're going to grab Quentin Johnston. Rookie, really a nut landing spot with the Chargers. Athletic freak. Could be a downfield threat who, scores around 10 touchdowns. Obviously, I think Mike Williams is the one there. Keenan Allen's still going to get his in the slot, but can't be anything but bullish on Quentin with the landing spot. And with me taking Saquon and Ramondre, I like plenty of running backs in this range, but with me having Jameson too, just want the extra talent at wideout. And let's get to some more questions here. Still a little bit wait and see on Eckler. He wanted to change teams. Probably not happening, but I guess that's not out of the question. He still could. I think Dawson Knox is going to play tight end, and Dalton Kincaid could play big slot. And so I think Dawson Knox is a guy who, in the red zone, he could still get a 2 touchdown game, but he's very unlikely to be a heavy volume guy. So I have Kincaid over Knox personally. But this is going to be a let's read what's happening in training camp for sure as well. Guys, we're 5 viewers away from 100. Appreciate everyone tuning in today. If you missed the beginning of the stream, the link to my Discord is in the chat. It's in the description below. Make sure to join that. I am responsive on Discord, so I will be answering questions there. Gave you guys some resources in there, such as these links to this website here, which tells you the rookies drafted, and gave you on Twitter how to easily see a draft class. Retweet, see if we can get to 100. Shout out me for my excellent thumbnail. My thumbnail games improved a lot, guys. Yeah, Jaden Reed, a guy who doesn't really get drafted and gets second round draft capital in the real NFL draft. GM Bindies. Anthony Richardson goes here in the 9th round. Definitely a guy I'm trying to draft a lot. Don't love to see him go. Pretty balanced start here. Thus having 2 running back spots filled and 4 to 5 wideouts, depending how you count JMO. See, and for anyone newer to best ball, Tua falling past ADP does not mean you just should be taking Tua. Obviously, you should really only be taking Tua if you have Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle, because otherwise, what's the point? Are you going to take Tua with whoever's playing tight end there? I don't even know. Rivercraft Raven or someone like that? I don't think so. At pick 104, we will be taking Kirk Cousins here. Just very consistently, 42 to 500 yards. He does stack with my tight end, TJ Hawkinson. We're getting a division stack with Jameson Williams. It's a pretty no-brainer pick there with some of the other quarterbacks I would take off the board already. And don't need to risk some donkey taking him. Or the guy who took Jordan Addison definitely could have taken him too as his quarterback too. So Kirk Cousins being my QB1, feel good about that. Definitely has the ability to, here, Zarouche here taking Tua. It's not something I'd really do. He's kind of a hard quarterback to backstack. And the weeks that he has good weeks in best ball is going to be because probably Tyreek and Waddle do. There, thank you. River Craycraft. Will you be uploading any chess content? Never say never, but probably going to be pretty best ball centric for this month. I don't think Deuce Vaughn affects Tony Pollard. I think he is a winner of the draft, a guy who I think is being drafted appropriately. Yes, I would take him ahead of Jahmyr Gibbs. I think that's probably a little ridiculous. It's a good goal for you, Devin. Let me pull up this stream on my YouTube and see how many likes we got. How much love you guys giving me? 35 likes. Come on, guys. It's like a third of you. Help me out here. Tyra Algier. a clear loser in the draft. Tough spot because I do want some of these running backs. Also, would like to get Goff. Ultimately, I think it's easier for me to find quarterbacks that can be Goff like later in the draft than it is to find quality running backs. So we'll be taking Samaje Perine as our third RB, a winner in the draft, in my opinion. If we go to the Broncos draft picks, they have Javonte Williams, who we don't even know if he's going to be playing. And then this is their draft class. So Perine could be an RB1. Definitely will be for some part of the season. So for the audio listeners, we have a 1-3-5-1 start. Kirk Cousins, Saquon Barkley, Ramondre Stevenson, Samaje Perine, A.J. Brown, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Marquise Brown, Jameson Williams, Quentin Johnston, and T.J. Hawkinson. So we have some inner draft correlation here, or inner division correlation is what I meant here. And Goff couldn't make it back to us. He's not a guy who he's like Tua. No one should be taking Goff if they don't have Amon-Ra St. Brown or if they don't have Jameson Williams. Like, I guess you could take him if you have Jahmyr Gibbs, but that it's about the only drafter we would need to fade. Thoughts on Jalen Hyatt? Jalen Hyatt's an interesting guy who you can see if we go to the draft history here, he was taken in the third round, but his ADP is 143, where if we look at the ADP of, let's say, Marvin Mims, who was drafted ahead of him in the NFL draft, his ADP is 198. So Hyatt is a guy who the market is giving a lot of credit to, even though the actual NFL draft did not. I think it's a good landing spot if he sees the field, but it's very complicated with the Giants right now. And Hyatt does play slot, but he plays a little bit differently than the guys they have there right now, who are more, traditional slot guys. Hyatt's like a speed down the field guy. So not really sure how things are going to shake out with the Giants yet. Nope. Did not take Madison. One Perine. Yeah, I think Madison is fine. Obviously, Cook could be out of there, but I like Perine more. Thought Madison, even though he's shown a lot in years past, was pretty disappointing last year. And, it's not a spot where I'm always going Perine. Okay, so YOLO takes Jared Goff for no reason. Maybe just because I'm streaming. Does not bother me. We'll take Dalton Kincaid as our RB2. Could be an engine of the offense of the Bills. Get a ton of target volume. And done at tight end with that pick. The Bills do play the Chargers. They do play the Patriots twice. So we're getting some stacks there. I think KJ Osborne is a loser of the draft. I like KJ Osborne, the talent, but he is now the pass catcher 4 in the offense. And so he's more of a contingent value to me. Jefferson's going to be ahead of him. Addison is probably going to be ahead of him. And that's not great. And Hawkinson's going to be ahead of him. I stack running backs with my quarterback sometimes. I think this can both be positive correlation and negative correlation, which negative correlation is just as good in best ball, where in the playoff weeks or even the regular season, you're just kind of trying to soak up the points of the offense. So a very balanced start here. With Kincaid, it wouldn't surprise me if he has like less touchdowns than Knox, but way more targets. But again, we'll have to see how that sorts out. Okay, and I think we will take Kyler here. I mean, Russell Wilson, we could stack with P. Ryan, but I mean, there's a risk that Russell is just done. And Kyler, we're getting a decent ADP discount on. Now, he should fall in ADP. Like, I don't see him staying in the 10th round. He does stack with Marquise Brown. Kyler could not play next year, but frankly, doesn't really matter if he plays. Yes, obviously, I would like him to play, but the team can still be fine with solely Kirk Cousins. Very strong, McKenzie. One of my favorite things is when people just go, "Oh, there's Liam being a homer, taking his Bills," ignoring that they're good best ball picks. And hopefully, people let me take them like that. Khalil Shakir, I think, is a loser in the draft. The Bills added another wide receiver, although he doesn't play slot. And Dalton Kincaid is now the slot competition. And I could see something where like Kincaid and Shakir share the slot, depending on what matchup the Bills want. Uh, I think both could have big seasons. I'm unlikely to take both together, but it is fine if you want to take Harris and Cook. Yeah, I mean, Joe Mixon is not in the clear. In some ways, he was a winner in the draft because the Bengals didn't add a running back to the 5th round. In other ways, we still don't know how his legal situation is going to play out. He did pull up aside a woman in traffic, allegedly, and say he was going to kill her and point a gun at her because she flicked him off. Um, Before an NFL playoff game against the Bills, he did that. So obviously a terrible decision maker. Also had domestic violence on his rapport. He's old. Um, could be a league winner to sorts if he is the RB1 of the Bengals in the 8th round, but lots of risk that his contract gets voided, etc. Wow, guys, we're at 100 viewers. Hit the subscribe button. Help me out. We're on the road to 2K. We have a 2-3-5-2 going on right now. The Bears running back situation is very complex right now with Roshan there. So we will take him though. He was the eighth running back drafted to a team who wants to take running backs a lot. Just not sure. He is a great pass blocker. blitz picker upper. So not sure who's going to be hurt the most in the Bears, but he is a division stack with the Kirk and Jameson Williams pick and Hawkinson pick. So we'll take him for now. Yeah, I think Brees in pre-draft, his ADP didn't make a lot of sense. Just based on the injury risk, he's probably behind, Jacobs from Andre for me. But I would, I want to mix him in because any of the guys could be the guys who have the big playoff weeks. And I'll be building most of my teams with the playoff weeks in mind. I think it's the more skilled way to build. If I fall into a top season-long team, wonderful. But like it's not a lot of skill to be like, oh, I drafted Josh Jacobs on my team. Okay, congrats. Like there's a bunch of guys that could do that in a given season. I don't think that's that talented of a thing to do compared to thinking through how to take down large field playoff tournaments. And again, $3 million to first place in this contest out of the 50 million total. So 20% of the prize pool going to first place only. We'll take Tank Bigsby, a third round pick from the Jaguars. The RB2 in Jacksonville, potentially. So that, in theory, the handcuff to ETN or maybe even the 1B. Could he be the RB3? Sure, but he was a third round pick. If we look at our draft history here. And, like compared to Devin Achane, who has an ADP of 134, went a couple picks ahead of him. He's 40 picks cheaper. So happily take Tank there. With having Kirk and Kyler, I could go 3 quarterbacks if it works out and I feel like it. With this group of running backs, probably only adding 1 more, which would allow me to add 3 more wideouts. So probably angling for 2-6-8-2. And could add a third tight end as well. Adding an extra tight end, in my opinion, always helps for playoff week purposes. I think Tank is a third round pick, and Dearness Johnson, I believe, was like an undrafted free agent. So he didn't get that much money to go to Jacksonville. He got like a 1-year contract. Oh, no, that's with the Browns. This is old news. 1 year, $2.3 million. Didn't play for the Browns last year. So I'll roll the dice on the rugby. Is it possible Tank Bigsby doesn't play in the NFL next year? Totally. He could be cut. He could not make the team. But, I think third round draft capital is significant enough. Mac, I don't pretend to be an NFL scout here, grinding the tape of Tank Bigsby and Dearness Johnson for you. I watch a lot of football, but I'm not that person for you. Yes, obviously Dearness is far more likely to not make the team. Yeah, I mean, Tank Bigsby, that's a fucking name there, Mike. Let's go. Hashtag analysis. Agreed. Gainwell, a clear loser in the draft after they add Swift, but still, with that team being as good as it is, anyone can get there. We'll take Rondale Moore. a stacking partner with Kyler, adding to our Cardinals and Seahawks potential Week 17 game. Let's go to the other Cardinals opponents. Something I look up too. I look up the opponents until we know the schedule. So they play the Giants. Saints. We're getting the Saquon stack. So they're playing that division. Good to know. Slight things like that should help you for tie breaks. Bringing us to a 2-5-6-2 to start here. Don't want to telegraph all my thoughts on stream, guys. I still am trying to win $3 million here. Chase Brown, a solid pick. He could potentially be the RB1 in Cincinnati if Mixon is cut. 5th round pick, athletic freak. Rashee Rice, who did not have an ADP last night. I'm not sure where his ADP will settle. I don't think I'll be chasing it if it gets outrageous, but it has been climbing the boards. Obviously, he is a Chief now. He received 2nd round draft capital. Athletic freak. But a lot of people didn't love his tape. Once again, guys, help me out on my road to 2,000 here. This is the first stream of Best Ball Mania 4 season. Help me out with those likes, guys, on the video as well. Might do a second draft right after this. Probably will. But want to just look at the team first. The Hunts, the CPATs, the Fournettes. Those are guys I will not be touching too much until we get clarity. Let's take Tyquan, though. I think he's a winner in the draft. He adds some mini correlation with running back, wide receiver. We have some Bills, Patriots stacks going on. And the Patriots added some guys late in the draft, but Jacoby Myers is out of there. Thornton, really fast guy. Great for best ball. And allows me to backstack with Mac if I feel like it. Yes, I totally think Michael Wilson is a viable stack with Kyler. Not going to be doing it on this team, probably. Michael Wilson did receive 3rd round draft capital. Yeah, unlikely to do it on this team with me already having the bet on Marquise and Rondale Moore. Doesn't seem like the Cardinals is a team we should super stack, especially when we have no idea how many games Kyler is playing this year. But on teams that I didn't take Marquise or Rondale, and I had Kyler, I probably would mix him in. We are at 2-5-7-2. Jaden Reed, another target I was going to take. Potentially the wide receiver 2 in Green Bay, depending on how things shake out with Romeo Dobbs. Desmond Ridder, definitely a winner at the draft as things stand today. Now, Ridder could totally be cucked by Tannehill if he's cut, or Trey Lance could get traded there. So he's not out of the water, but if the Falcons do not add a quarterback, it's in a decent spot. think it totally depends on the team, Cal. He asks, is 3 player stack from one team the right amount on average? Heineke is there as well, as Joey points out. All right, guys, we're at 50 likes. We've crossed the 1540 subscriber amount. So let me update that. Let's go. Help me out, guys. Hit subscribe. We're on the road to 2K here. I'm going to take a player by the name of Evan Hull. Athletic freak, received 5th-round draft capital for the Colts. Could be the handcuff to Jonathan Taylor. Could not. Not getting drafted a lot right now, which is a plus. And a rookie as well. So we're taking a lot of rookie scratch offs here with our later round picks. I'm definitely done at 6 RBs like that. And it's okay if one of Roshan, Tank, Hull doesn't hit. Like if one of these guys is RB1-ish or provides some solid spike weeks, it's a good investment. Dude has an athletic freak. Hull is. And one of the higher drafted running backs in the class. 5th-round draft capital. Hard to say where I'm going to throw the last bullet here. I mean, 18th round Trey Lance. I just think I got to take him. I don't need the quarterback. You know what? Fuck it. 18th round Trey Lance. We're doing it, guys. I refuse to be shamed by these Brock Purdy sickos. Yeah, it's not great that Ian Rappaport said Trey Lance is potentially the quarterback 3. You know what he didn't say? He did not say he is definitely the quarterback 3. Everyone's being reported that it is. Let's go. The Lance Ramondre Taekwon Galaxy Brain Stack. Thank you, Mackenzie. Let's go. Trey Lance, the new quarterback of the New England Patriots. Maybe. I have looked at WSOP. I do know what events I'm playing. I'm playing a lot of them. I'm going to be probably firing close to 50K in action. Gonna try to win a bracelet before we take down some best ball contests this year. My greatest year yet. So that finishes my team off with a 3-6-7-2. The quarterbacks are Kirk Cousins, Kyler Murray, Trey Lance. Obviously, a ton of upside with question marks in Murray and Lance. Saquon Barkley, Ramondre Stevenson, Samaje Perine, Roshan Johnson, Tank Bigsby, Evan Hull are my running backs. A.J. Brown, Jackson Smith, Najigba, Marquise Brown, Jameson Williams, Quentin Johnston, Rondale Moore, Tyquan Thornton, TJ Hawkinson, and Dalton Kincaid are my tight ends. Guys, should I do a second one? I'm at 54 likes. If I can get to 60 likes in the next 2 minutes, I'll do another draft. What do we say about that? That's not that high of an ask. Next couple minutes, let's get to 60 likes. We're at 54 right now, and I will do a second draft. 60. All right, we're already there, guys. We're already. What are you guys doing? You make me do that? You make me strong arm you? Come on. We have a loving relationship here. I stream for you. I try to help you out. You come, you tune in for me. Don't make me strong arm like that and ask for the likes like that. Come on now. Instantly got to the plus 60 like button. Just do a little goodwill. Do your part, hit the like button. I am not paid for my YouTube streams. In fact, I'm actively hurting my EV. I'm giving away the secrets, the skeleton keys. We are in this next draft. We pulled the 106. An interesting point to be drafting from. All right, so a little rough start there between me and the viewers there, but thank you for the likes. Please hit the subscribe button. Helps me out. We're on the road to 2K. Maybe I'll just stream until I get it. Just rip the 24-hour one. We need another. Do it up. Yes, Liam. Bracelet chasing. Yeah, I'm going to try to vlog the WSOP events I play. Shout out the Flock. I'm gonna be trying to collab with a lot of different people in the space. People I haven't on the channel before. People like him. People like some other people. Just to expose my viewers to their content and me to theirs. I'm a big believer in collabing with others especially for YouTube growth. YouTube should not be a competitive thing. But yeah, I will be vlogging my WSOP tournaments. This is ridiculous. CMC ahead of Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. Ridiculous. He is CMC though. What are your thoughts on? Is this a serious question? Boo this man. Travis Kelce is a good pick. We don't have any Travis Kelce shares. He did win me $250K last year. He was on that team, so we will get a Travis Kelce share here. I'm not drafting Stetson Bennett. I think he can have a career in the NFL. I'm bullish on Stafford, but this is not how you grind your edges. You don't try to draft the backup quarterbacks who don't even have a ceiling if they see the field, really. I'll be playing the WSOP main event and then almost every event 5K and under. I don't know how many bullets I'll be doing, but I'm going to play a lot of them. I don't know if I'll be playing like Deuce to 7 Triple Doll and Belugi and all that shit, but hey, if we could make a run at the Player of the Year, try to get ourselves up on the banner, let's go. Might sell some of my action if people want to buy it. I did have a successful WSOP last year. 10-minute ask, where do you expect Jahmyr Gibbs ADP to settle, given the crazy draft capital plus Swift trade? I think he will settle in probably around the 4th to 3rd round. You can get him in the 5th now. Then why are you asking, Devin, about Stetson Bennett? Come on now. It's a launch day of BBM4 and you making me talk about Stetson Bennett? I did see a funny tweet about him, though. Someone was like, really glad he got drafted to the Rams. Incredible opportunity. They do have a great party culture there. So I think he was like arrested for being absolute shit-faced in public. Are you drafting Justin Shorter? I will have a share or two of Shorter. He's probably a guy I'll wait and see, get more info on. But fifth round draft capital, not the most draft capital in the world, so not someone I'm like screaming to pick. I just took Gibbs at 40. It's easy to slide him ahead of Najee. Yeah, agreed there. We're gonna take Mahomes here with us having Kelsey. Um, agree with that. Najee's a guy I just wish was like a round or two cheaper, but I'm just not taking him. Like he goes right after guys who could like win the league, and I don't really view Najee in the same skill. But I think Najee was kind of a winner in the draft because not only do you have George Pickens who can like block the shit out of someone. You've seen the shots of him just like shoving people down. But now they drafted Darnell Washington, the tight end, who is also going to be a great blocker for them. So they're just like upping their ability to block for guys like Najee. My chest rating is around 2,050 feet. Let's go, Mackenzie. If I make the final table for the WSOP main event, that would be 1 mil to first. I believe 10 mil to first, or 1 mil to last, and 10 mil to first. Probably going to be the biggest one ever this year. What a crazy parlay it would be to win the WSOP main event for 10 mil and Best Ball Mania 4 for 3 mil. That would be a hell of a fucking year. And, it would allow me to grow my platform and grow best ball. I'm going to definitely be having some poker people on. I reached out to Robbie Jade Lou, the woman who is at the center of the cheating controversy in poker. And she said she'd love to come on the channel and do a stream. So I think that would be a cool way to grow, best ball to different viewers. Okay. Let's see what Rack'em Willie does. Giving us a lot of anticipation here, Willie. Make it a good pick. Devonta Smith. Okay. Derrick Henry. Hard to take someone his age. Where's Star Ramondre? Perfect. The Chiefs do play the AFC East, meaning they play the Patriots, they play the Jets, they play the Bills. So building up a game stack could be week 17. Appreciate everyone tuning in for this. It's my first ever double stream, I believe. I did do the draft-a-thon last year. Might do that again where I get a bunch of guests on. I'm not too keen on the idea, though, of giving away a bunch of free Best Ball Mania 4 entries to guests. So probably we'll wait until puppy season for most guests to guest stream with. I don't want to give away half of $3 million to someone, but a puppy, glad to share that. But for big guests, I think going to have Matthew Berry on the channel. He said he'd be willing to come on. Obviously, I think I'd float Matt Berry on a BBM4 or any other really big guest I can book. So make sure you subscribe to the channel to not miss any of that Electric Factory content. Guy in the 12th pick went Mark Andrews and Lamar on the turn. Something I see happen quite a bit. Makes sense. Lamar, an obvious winner of the draft. Both got signed. And the Ravens add Zay Jones. Yeah, don't think I'm going to be hitting Matt Berry on the 1250. Will very willingly float him. We'll play on words here for an oversized Bilbo. You guys imagine what that could mean. Jahmyr Gibbs does go in round 4. We will take Mike Williams, building up on the division stack with the Chiefs. And if the Chiefs are playing the Bills and the Dolphins and etc., so are the Chargers. So giving us more outs to stack up week 17. Ask, what do you think about overs at streaming all 150 of BBM4? Before he released that, I've had the idea of saying I was going to do that like several years in a row. And ultimately, I don't want to sign up for that because I'm crazy enough to think that I could win this fucking thing. And I do not want to bleed all my EV on Best Ball Mania 4s to do them in streamed rooms. Sometimes I want to wake up at 5 a.m. and rip a draft, or maybe I've smoked 4 joints and I want to draft one late night and I don't feel like streaming then. So I think it's great for Pete. It will be great for his channel growth. But I don't really feel like signing up for 150 Best Ball Mania 4s. For example, I did 10 before I even streamed one. Devin, is this a serious question right now? You're having a weak show, Devin. Are you maxing out BBM? Of course I am. Got to get my fucking cacti. You don't win Best Ball Mania 2 for $1 million, and then you're like, you know what? Actually, I can only fire 104 entries this year. Do you see this? See this entry amount in the corner here? I deposited enough for 150 Best Ball Mania 4 drafts. Come on now, Devin. Once again, guys, if you're tuning in late here, the link to my Discord is in my YouTube description below. Yeah, undrafted guys. I mean, Ford Wheaton was a guy I would draft in pre-draft, but not going to be taking Ford Wheaton as an undrafted free agent unless we get great news later. The question is, if it was uncapped, how many would you enter? That's a great question, Joey. I don't know. I'd probably sell action and draft like 1,000. I could probably easily do 100 a day if I was like trying to grind that out. Fun fact about Christian Kirk is Christian Kirk has been in all 3 of my tournament winning NFL best ball teams. He was on my Best Ball Mania 2 team. He was on my DraftKings 555 team. He was on my DraftKings $2,120 team. So Christian Kirk is officially a brand guy of the channel. Kirk Nation, stand up. Come on, did anyone get chills when I said that? Anyone else? Anyone? No one? Just me? Okay. Rough debut for Kirk. Christian Kirk Nation. No, it's not legal for a contest to be uncapped. We'll never see it. It was just a rhetorical question. Yeah, I mean, if you want to take the risk that you are hitting on the undrafted free agent that's like a Jalen Warren, be my guest, or like a James Robinson, be my guest, but that's not the risk I'm willing to take at this point in the draft season. It's not a ton of upside, even if you're correct. Kirk with 3 rings. You got it, up dog. Once again, guys, help out the channel. Hit the like. Come back later today. Drop a comment in the YouTube description. All interaction helps. Obviously, me pretty strictly doing live stream is not great for channel growth. It would be a lot easier to grow a channel if I did a bunch of 10-minute videos being like, this is why you need to draft Patrick Mahomes in Best Ball Mania 4. Like we've all seen those videos. That's what the casual people like, but I'm here for the fucking grinders. So help me out. Yeah, I think Atlanta's pass catchers, kind of a tough click, but Drake London should still have a high target share. Probably not going to be advanced rate monsters, but could easily have a good fantasy playoffs. Where is Deuce Vaughn being taken? He doesn't get taken in most drafts. He was drafted to the Cowboys. If you didn't see that special moment, Deuce Vaughn's dad works for the Cowboys, and he drafted him. I mean, something I'm almost never doing is taking Trevor here, but past ADP, we got Kirk Nation here. So we're done at quarterback. We got the T-Law and Mahomes stack. And let's look at the Jaguars' opponents. Chargers. They do play Chiefs, so building up stacks. They do play the Bills. We'll probably throw in a Bill later. And Trevor's a tough guy because it's like, in some senses, it feels like he's being drafted too closely to the Herberts and Lamars. And the other sense is like, the dude's got a ball. He's got Calvin Ridley there now. Yeah, I would definitely be drafting Deuce Vaughn over Ronald Jones. I've done the Ronald Jones thing, but it would be Deuce for me. But it's a case where we're gonna want to see news. Yeah, I think ADPs are gonna settle in right now, as far as where quarterbacks line up with pass catchers for the statue guys. And then we'll see ADPs change once the NFL schedule comes out, and we'll kind of see ADP sometimes schedules like that. What's Deshaun Watson's ADP? And do you have any takes on him, Joey asks? Deshaun Watson's ADP is 68.5. Not going to be a guy I have a huge bag on. There is some chance that we're just not going to see that Deshaun anymore. I think it's unlikely. We probably will, but there's like plenty of quarterbacks I like later in the draft with upside too. So I think it's a fine click. Do not anticipate having a huge position on him though. Let's take Cam Akers. I think he's a winner in the draft. Showed a really high ceiling down the stretch last year. Potentially an advance rate monster. The Rams went guard, D-end, D tackle, quarterback, linebacker, tackle, tight end, wide receiver, cornerback. Most importantly, they did not draft a running back. Tough range in the draft where there's plenty of players I want to draft, but I like the Ramondre Akers start. Gabe Davis goes. Obviously, it's hard for me to pass up on Gabe, but got to do what you got to do. Darren Waller goes. Another guy I quite like. Kadarius Toney would have been a stack for me. Just checking on the Chiefs draft class. They went DN, wideout, tackle, free safety, DN, D tackle, corner. Any thoughts on Elijah Moore? Loved the talent, but such a bad situation last year. I like him about pick 110. Yeah, I liked him, but with them adding Cedric Tillman, it's a little bit more complicated for Elijah Moore in Cleveland. Okay. We are at pick 91. I think we'll just take Evan Ingram here. So we got both our quarterbacks stacked with both our tight ends. Stacking your quarterback with your tight end, pretty sensible thing to do. The Jaguars did draft a tight end in the second round, Brenton Strange, but hopefully he's gonna block a little bit more. He's obviously athletic freak, 9.09 RAS. They also drafted a tackle, but their other tackle got suspended. So hopefully Strange is like a look towards the future, because I think Ingram's on the franchise tag. This is clearly old news, Spot Track. He is on the franchise tag. So yeah, I would guess that Brenton Strange a look towards the future. Chris answered this earlier, but we'll answer it again. Are you drafting Justin Shorter? Probably not at this point in the offseason, but yeah, I'll definitely be mixing them in. I think it just got more complicated in Buffalo as far as what's going on with Shakir, Deontay Hardy, Justin Shorter. Shorter could just be special teams. He could just be Gabe Davis insurance if Davis walks next year. Or maybe he plays this year. Doesn't drop passes, which is a good attribute when you play with a guy who throws the ball as fast as Josh Allen. And you play with Anthony Richardson, so, similar styles. So not great for us with the amount of wideouts that just got drafted. Couple dudes we would have liked. I think Bateman's a pretty clear loser in the draft. So we're going to go running back. Charbonnet, I take quite a bit, but we're going to take Damian Harris for the stack. And, I like Cook. I like Harris. I think both have the potential to have a big season, but we're going to go Harris this time. Makes sense with the Bills play the Jags, they play the Chiefs, they play the Chargers, they play the Patriots. So, I need to go volume at wideout with us investing in tight end early, investing in quarterback early, investing in running back early. So, going to draft a lot of wideouts probably. You can see Anthony Richardson goes in the 9th round in this draft, a player with a very varying ADP. I believe he's my highest exposed player in the big board. So yeah, quarterback and quarterback and tight end, probably just not drafting any more of them. I could if I felt like it, but much more likely to go for wideouts and running backs. Let's go for Tyler Boyd. Just kind of like a boring guy, back to back 150-point seasons, still has the contingent upside. Um, Potential that the Joe Mixon's out of there. I think he's a solid, safe pick. The Bengals play the draft cast too. Doing DN corner, strong safety, wide out, running back, wide out, place kicker, corner. So they did take 2 wideouts, one in the 4th, one in the 6th. It's probably more of a look towards the future. And they are playing. They play the Bills. So we got that stacked. They play the Jaguars. They play the Chiefs. So we're stacking both our quarterbacks with a Bengal and the Bills and the Rams. So we're getting a correlation everywhere here. Ryan says, surprised you went Boyd over Sky Moore there with Mahomes on your team already. Yeah, just there's a potential that Sky Moore sucks. And Tyler Boyd, I know, does not. Not saying I won't take Sky. I could take him with my next pick if I really felt like it, but I don't know. Not a player. This is not a great season. Okay, Jalen Hyatt goes. I think I'm gonna take Brian Robinson here. Not a player I'd take a lot, but he's past ADP. Fell after Gibson in this draft, and was getting like 20 carries a game last year. The Commanders did draft a running back in the 6th round, but they should establish it this year. With Chris Rodriguez Jr. in the 6th, they added some talent on the O-line. And did the wrong thing there. Looks like they do. That's the 2022 schedule, I would assume. Looks like they're Patriots. That's a stack for us. They're playing the Bills. That's a stack. And that's it. So yeah, I mean, like plenty of questions on a bunch of guys in this range. Alvin Kamara, obviously, talented guy, but don't know if he's playing. So pretty solid group of 4 running backs right now. Damian and Brian Robinson would be players I'm lower on in managed leagues, but like in best ball. You got it, Ryan. Sky Moore did go. So once again, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Really helps me out. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers, and then we're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. I launched my Discord today. Make sure you get in there. The link is in the YouTube description below. Chaos Surfing. Let's see a bunch of you join. Shout out all of you guys, you absolute champions. We got some of the sharpest people in the world chatting away in here. I'll be answering questions. I often receive DMs on Twitter that I do not typically answer. So if you have questions, I'll answer them in Discord. Zach Evans did not get great draft capital. In fact, I believe he was an undrafted free agent. I think taking Algier here is fine. Obviously, I need wideouts, but they're going to come. I'm not a guy I'm going to take a lot with Bijan being there, but well past his ADP. Obviously, his ADP is going to fall. Highly efficient year last year, and might be done with the 5 running backs. Probably am. So the team so far is Pat Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, Ramondre Stevenson, Cam Akers, Damian Harris, Brian Robinson, Tyler Algier at running back, Mike Williams, Christian Kirk, Tyler Boyd at wideout, and Travis Kelce and Evan Engram at tight end. Rams traded up for Evans. Zach Evans, yeah. Okay, he's a 6th-round pick. Sounds good, Ryan. Thanks for tuning in. Don't know what this means, Kyle. Mahomes and Kelce bad for leverage. Oh, you need both of them to have big weeks, 15 to 17, and then they're highly owned. Yeah, Kyle, you're basically making a case against stacking, and I think that's just wrong. So, agree to disagree. So, a bit of an atypical draft for me with how few resources I've invested at wide receiver. Okay, we're going to take Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He is still a Chief, adding to our Mahomes stack. I'm hearing people join the Discord. Get in there. Appreciate everyone tuning in for this stream today. I'll be back tomorrow with another stream probably. So keep an eye. I'll announce that in the Discord. I'll announce that on Twitter. Check it out. Which Ross? Mac, there are two Rosses on the Chiefs. There's John Ross and there's Justin Ross. I think both could have big years with the Chiefs, but I kind of want more information. Chiefs are a very difficult team to peg down what's happening with their wide receivers at this point in the offseason. Justin Watson's back. A little Jalen Warren and Kenny Pickett mini. Makes sense. Ooh, Rashee Rice goes. Probably was going to take him next. I mean, this is the wide receiver depth chart in Kansas City right now. You got MVS, you got Kadarius Toney, you got Sky Moore, you got Rashee Rice, you got Richie James, you got Justin Watson, you got Cornell Powell, you got Emir Smith Marset, you got Justin Ross, you got John Ross, you got Ty Fry Fogel, and you got Jarian Ely. So, a lot of bodies. Well, Mackenzie, the contest did drop yesterday, so ADP is not normalized. Players are moving all over the board. For the audio listeners, he asked, "How does Sky go 2.5 rounds ahead of Rice?" I think. Let's see. They added a wideout. Yeah, we'll go Rashid. Shaheed. Deep burner. Makes sense in best ball. A little bit of correlation with the Tyler Algier division stack. Gotta do what you gotta do, Mackenzie. Finishing out Mackenzie's comment to the audio crew. How does Sky go 2.5 rounds ahead of Rice? Seems like the same bet, except Rashee hasn't yet put up a bad NFL season. Yeah, I mean, but Sky's allowed to get better. Juju's out of there. Yes, Tanner, I definitely think wideouts who get draft capital are worth looking at. Tanner asks for the audio crew. So who is this Jaden Reed guy? He went higher than I think anyone expected. Is he anyone to be looking at? Definitely. I definitely saw some analysts that like his game too. Again, on the links I provide in my Discord, Jaden Reed taken in the second round with the 19th pick by the Packers. But the Packers added a lot of offensive players in the draft. They added a wideout in the second. They added a wideout in the fifth. They added a tight end in the third and a tight end in the second. So pretty crowded room. Sky is younger as well, Bildo points out. Good point. And why that matters is if you're young and able to get in the NFL, even if you have a bad season, you know, if someone is 4 years older than you dominated in college, it's like, okay, but you couldn't do it in the NFL. Nah, fuck it. Sharks hurt, so we're gonna go Curtis Samuel. Adds to the mini correlation running back wideout with Brian Robinson. Athletic freak had a great year last year until he got hurt. And Commanders did not add any wideouts in the draft. People forget Curtis Samuel did Debo Samuel things before Debo Samuel. He had 38 rushing attempts last year. 5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns, pretty good. And all those came at the beginning of the year. We don't know who's going to play quarterback for the Commanders yet. Could be Sam Howell. Could be Jacoby Brissett. I'd be rooting for Howell from a fantasy perspective, but who knows? Again, guys and girls, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, especially the subscribe button. We're on the road to 2,000. Might put an embargo on the streams if we don't get it soon. Gerardo, my brother, it is April. He says, saw Rogers hanging out with Lazard at a hockey game. Wilson wasn't there. I don't think Garrett Wilson's going too high. They did add a wideout in the third. The Raiders did. But we took Hunter Renfro, who plays in the same division as the Chargers and the Chiefs. So we're getting that stack. And I mean, had a 200-point season 2 years ago. Was hurt last year. Probably a good fit with Jimmy G being there and his talents. It's a little bit complicated with Jacoby Myers being there as well. And Michael Mayer as well. But I don't know. We'll take him. Hard to say McKenzie, Shakir. There's definitely simulations of the season where Shakir has a great year. It's not encouraging. He didn't see the field too much last year. It's good news. Isaiah McKenzie's out of town. Dalton Kincaid will probably compete for him for slot snaps. And the Bills are probably going to run more 12 personnel. Something that people do a lot is they try to take last year's scheme of teams and just assume that's how it's going to play out again. And teams change. Like if the Bills run a lot more 12 personnel with Knox and Kincaid, means they're not going to run as much 11 personnel or 3 wide receivers. So, what does that do? Well, it means Davis is on the field more than a slot. Diggs is on the field more. There's no more slot guy. That slot is Dalton Kincaid. DJ Chark's slide stops. Oof, not stacked though. I might take Isaiah Hodgins. Ex-Bill. He is one of the only big bodies in New York, along with Slayton. Had a great end of the season. Yes, it's possible he doesn't see the field that more, but uh, you know, I think he's just a solid pick who could have a good year, especially for a 17th round pick. Well past ADP as well. But he's a guy that we're going to want to pay attention to. Camp news could totally fall out of favor. So that brings us to a 2-5-8-2. Mahomes and Lawrence at running back. Ramondre, Cam Akers, Damian Harris, Brian Robinson, Tyler Algier. At wideout, Mike Williams, Christian Kirk, Tyler Boyd, MVS, Rashid Shaheed, Curtis Samuel, Hunter Renfro, Isaiah Hodgins. And at tight end, Travis Kelce and Evan Ingram. And I think I'll add the last bullet at wideout. Definitely could do it at running back. Because, there's cases where Algier doesn't see the field that much. B-Rob doesn't. Damon Harris doesn't. But we got a bunch of question marks at wideout late. And we're just going to go wideout. Oh, God, Bilbo. That's not a name I expected to be reading on day one. He asks, is Logan Thomas alive again? Maybe. All right, I'll take Tim Patrick. Not great that the Broncos selected Marvin Mims, but it's well past ADP. It stacks with the division of the AFC West. And my middle name's Patrick. Pat Crane won Best Ball Mania 3. So I'm just connecting dots here, guys. My parents are named Pat and Pat. So a lot of signs pointing to Tim Patrick there for me. Coming off injury, but we don't know what's happening with KJ Hamler. So I like the team. Which team do you guys like best? The one I did first or second? I'll pull them both up here and we'll vote. Let me go into my YouTube. I'll make a little poll for y'all. Don't vote until I pull it up. Okay, so the Pat Mahomes team is stream 2. Let's name these. This is stream. This is my 12th draft. Stream 1. So stream 1 is Kirk Cousins, Kyler Murray, Trey Lance, Saquon Barkley, Ramondre Stevenson, Samaje Perine, Roshan Johnson, Tank Bigsby, Evan Hull, AJ Brown, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Marquise Brown, Jamison Williams, Quentin Johnston, Rondell Moore, Tyquan Thornton, TJ Hawkinson, Dalton Kincaid. And then stream 2 is Pat Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence, Ramondre Stevenson, Cam Akers, Damian Harris, Brian Robinson, Tyler Algier, Mike Williams, Christian Kirk, Tyler Boyd, Marcus Valdez-Scantling, Rashid Shaheed, Curtis Samuel, Hunter Renfrow, Isaiah Hodgins, Tim Patrick, Travis Kelce, Evan Ingram. So get your votes in there, guys. Stream 1 or stream 2. It is 50-50 currently. I hate to report, fell asleep last night. Yeah, this is a tough one. The only, it's not awful. I'll show you it. It's got Watson, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr. It's got Walker, Aaron Jones, Cam Akers, Tyler Algier, Rashad Penny, Kenneth Gainwell, Sean Tucker, Chase Waddle, Juju, Josh Palmer, Tim Patrick. So it's got stacked up Russell. And then tight end's really weak though. Chig and Jake Ferguson, who is probably not even the tight end 1 in Dallas. So yeah, that's unfortunate. We fell asleep late last night. So stream 1 or stream 2, guys. Stream 1 is currently the minor favorite here with only 10 votes though. Love Stars is liking team 2 for sure. While I let you guys vote on which stream you like better, the first stream was a 3672. The second one was a 2592. Make sure you join my Discord. It is linked in the YouTube description below. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. As soon as I end this stream, refresh it. Drop a comment in the YouTube comment section. All of that helps me out. Preston, I definitely do not recommend sleeping while drafting. It would be hilarious though if that thing took it down. I did take Jamar Chase 101, and it sucks because I got the Waddle Chase start, which is like that's a good start. And then just gonna do it. But make sure you guys join those things, do those things for me, please. I'll be back tomorrow. Well, no comment, Mackenzie. He asked, is sleeping in 4 blunts correlated? No comment, no comment. I'll be back tomorrow with another Best Ball Mania stream. I'm going to take a look at the YouTube analytics, see what time is best. Maybe get a late night stream going for you guys. Really appreciate this community, guys. We're going to the fucking moon. We're hitting $3 million this year. Enough of Pat Kerrane and his $2 million. It is our year. We are back on top. Appreciate everyone. Have a great day. Let's do this thing.